Hi, I'm Jenny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. Welcome to Connections After Hours. Whether you're here with us live on Zoom, joining us on Facebook, or watching later on YouTube, I'm glad you're here. This is your time to slow down, fill up, and connect with other heart-centered women who are making a difference in the world. I'm blessed to have one of those women with me tonight. Reverend Rosemary Robertson Bredeson is speaking on manifesting the 2026 you desire, tools for creating your dream life. Rosemary is the scientific mystic, a spiritual mentor, medium, and teacher of the new consciousness. After 26 years in a technical career, including on NASA's Hubble Space Telescope project, Rosemary was guided to change careers. With certifications in human design, NLP, and other tools, she helps people find the clear path to living as their authentic self. Rosemary mentors individuals and groups, teaches classes, and shares wisdom from many dimensions. You can find out more about Rosemary at thescientificmystic.com, and that is also in the text of this video. Rosemary, thank you for being here and for sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you, Jenny. It's always fun to gather with the women who circulate around you because you attract inspiring women.
You're on.
Okay. Well, it's great to be here with everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. And I don't want to be here as a lecturer tonight. So what I will tell you is, of course, I wrote some notes down because I do some prep work. But it's more important for me to tune in to the energies, to tune into the guidance. And I work with a lot of different guides from a lot of different places in the universe. And so I'm never sure what's going to come out of my mouth. And I just thought I'd give you a fair warning that uh, it'll be what we're supposed to hear tonight. And so, welcome, and I'm happy to be here with you. I think you heard enough about me. Um, my work on the Hubble Space Telescope was to be, at the end of my long tenure there, was to get the pictures out and the press releases. And I really understood now that the work I'm doing, which seems like a total 180 from the career that I had as a mathematician, was not so different because I help women discover what they didn't know, which is exactly what Hubble did for humanity. It was the first time we had a telescope that was up above the Earth's atmosphere. So it didn't have the distortions of the atmosphere changing the pictures of what we thought the universe was. And once the telescope was up above that distortion, we discovered that we didn't know a lot of things that we didn't know. And it's like that for the work that I'm doing now, helping women discover what they don't know. And it's not just about business, although I mostly work with women entrepreneurs. And the tools that I have are, well, I've been gathering them for 30 years. And so I have this big toolbox with NLP and Reiki, other healing modalities, Enneagram, Feng Shui, and scientific hand analysis. Human design is the latest tool that is just so powerful. When my husband and I learned our human design, it was like a big exhalation. Because he's a generator and I'm a projector. And if you know anything about human design, we are not designed to be the same. As a matter of fact, when I was certified in human design by Chetan Parkin, who's written several books on it, he said, we projectors need to have a beautiful teapot where we can take tea breaks and we let the generators do their thing, but we sit with our beautiful teapot and sip our tea and recover ourselves. And so it's very interesting that my husband is actually the tea expert in our house. However, when he understood, okay, he could keep going and I was going to sit and sip my tea, it really helped again for both of us to understand, okay, we don't have to try to be in lockstep. We don't have to be doing things the same way. And the same thing, the topic we're talking about tonight is about manifesting. But I think the first step to manifesting is to know who you are. Because one of the things that I have noticed with clients is sometimes they're working to produce something they think they should produce, or what somebody told them they should be manifesting, making happen, right? And it's when we actually let go of that and learn how to go inside and figure out what is it that I really desire, and what is it I'm here to manifest, and who am I? That's really where we get the best answers to the what are we here to produce on the planet? What are we here to serve? Who are we here to serve? And a lot of that information we can get the starting point even by looking at our human design, but also it's that tuning in. How do I tune into my guidance? And when I hear the word manifesting, I think of all of the, I mean, I don't know how many emails you get, but I get an awful lot of them that have the word manifest in it, right? I actually even went to Dr. Google, and manifest is to bring a desire, idea, or goal into physical reality through focused thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And I'd like to switch that definition around a little bit for us as we get started talking about it. I think manifesting is really about allowing. It's allowing the universe to bring us what it is that we truly desire, our heart's desire. What you are creating in your life is coming about because of the frequency that you're putting out. It's the vibe. You need to vibe with what it is you really desire. Has anybody ever worried about something and then what's the phrase that we use? It's that um, something's coming true because we then say, see, I told you that was going to happen, right? Because we worry about what we don't want to have happen. But what's the frequency? What are we vibing to? We're vibing to what we don't want. And when we learn that and we learn to catch ourselves, like, okay, am I thinking about, am I believing, am I putting out there a picture of what I don't want? Because that's the magnet. Remember, the universe doesn't speak English. The universe doesn't really write or read what you write in your journal. The universe speaks frequency. So, whatever you tell the universe from your energetic field is what becomes the magnet. And so you're telling the universe something, but sometimes you think you're going to manifest X, but you're telling the universe about Y, and then Y comes in. So I wanted to actually share some stories about manifesting before I knew anything about manifesting. So when I left college, I thought, okay, I'm going to marry, well, they'd have to be Catholic. I was in a Catholic college, Catholic at the time. And I think they should be an engineer. And here's how much I want them to be making their salary. So I was introduced to a guy who was a Catholic engineer, and he made almost that amount of money, but I figured I could fudge that. We got engaged very rapidly. And during the time before the wedding, he actually got a raise up to the number that I had thought. Um, so that's my first husband. And we have a beautiful daughter out of that marriage. But I graduated. That's how I look at divorce. I think it's a graduation. Like, when you're finished with kindergarten, you graduate. You learned everything you were going to learn and you keep going. So then after I was divorced, I started praying, please, God, make the next one be rich. And that's his name. So I was really good at manifesting. However, I would encourage you to work at this a little bit differently than those stories are about. And I want you to think about what we're talking about is how do we create the life that we want? And again, it's not the energy of pushing anything out there because we're doing it unconsciously all the time. You're manifesting all the time. So being conscious, living a conscious life, is being conscious of the frequency, being conscious of your vibes, being conscious of the energy bubble that you're walking through your life in. What is the bubble, right? What's that stickiness around you that's telling the universe, bring it on, bring it on. I'm going to allow it. And that's the first place to think about when you're thinking about what it is that you really want to bring in. It's how do I want to feel in 2026? What's the energy I want to be in 2026? Who are the people I want to be around? What's the environment like? And you can do that at every level. What colors do I want to wear? What clothes do I want to wear? Once you get into that, how you want to be in 2026, you'll start to see things falling away that don't fit that, whether it's clothes or people or ideas you thought you had that you were going to do, but they don't resonate anymore. They don't make you feel on fire, desiring that. So I would invite you to consider that the first act of manifesting is to clean up your energy bubble and make sure there's nothing in it that would be a magnet to attract what you don't want. Thoughts, beliefs, actions, people, even plans. Is that going to attract what I don't want? Start there. Now, I want to share with you a tool. I don't know how many of you know Colette Baron Reed. She's got a new book out called The Art of Manifesting, and it's got something called the AM method in it. I've taken a couple of workshops with her about it. But this is kind of what it looks like when you do this process. This is the start of one. I actually have started working with it, and it's fascinating because, I mean, here's one where I actually got the colors going in it. And it's based on science. It's based on neuroscience. You're actually programming neural pathways when you use this path, when you use this method for manifesting. I think it's pretty cool that science is now on board with this abstraction, but it actually has power. So that's one of the latest tools. I have a friend who's a teacher for Dr. Joe Dispenza, and she talks about how she was telling a story about some advanced students getting together, and they were working on manifesting, again, visualizing objects, 3D objects. And she said during this conference, they went for a walk and found a little store. And she saw the object. She had it in her living room. It's a beautiful piece, objet d'art. But she had seen this shape and she was given the shape and then she focused on it and she energized it. And then she walked into a store and there it was. So it's like creating something out of nothing, creating a 3D object. But somehow she had tapped into that, and that was supposed to be in her home. So I think that there are so many ways that these can happen, and that's Joe Dispenza, the Colette Baron Reed way. These are kind of like the neuroscience, the new things that actually talk about going from an idea or a thought and actually creating something in 3D. Now, some of the typical things we're used to, vision boards, which a lot of times vision boards are, to me, static and they don't have the this or something better on them. But I did an exercise a few years ago, did a vision board, and I happened upon a picture of a hawk. So I glued that on it because a hawk is my totem. And within 48 hours, that hawk, looking exactly like that picture, sat on my deck. And I took a picture of it, and it was like I could have put that picture on my vision board because they matched. That's the only time we've been here 13 years. Only time there's ever been a hawk sitting on the corner of my deck that looked like that. So, I mean, I haven't seen any hawks at all. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe this vision board thing isn't really so bad. I like to think of there's mind movies that you can do that are like a vision board, but they're a moving picture. And you can do digital vision boards, like if you have Canva, they have vision board templates. You can create vision boards that then you just easily go in and replace things, or if you feel like this needs to be updated, or you've already manifested that you want to shift things. So think about if you want to do that, or with pictures. One of the workshops that I do is called the Moon Planner Play Shop. And we actually do pull pictures from magazines, but we put them in manila envelopes so you can't see through them. And then you set up a planner based on the lunar cycles of the moon, and you reach into the manila envelope and pull out a picture to glue on the page that has a date on it, a new moon, a full moon, quarter moons. What we found in doing this over several years is you get to a point where you turn the page and it's like, wow, that picture for today's full moon is so perfect. It's amazing. And I pulled it 6 months ago. How wild is that? It's because you're tuning in. It's your intuition that's pulling that picture. You're not consciously saying, I want this picture on August's full moon. And I can't tell you how many times over the years people have said, wow, I can't believe I put those words in that picture on that time. And then I met it in the calendar. I walked into that in the calendar. Um, Another thing that you can do when you're working on creating your life, creating what it is that you do want, you can journal, you can use affirmations. Again, you know the um, admonition, present tense as if it's already here. And speak it. Tell people what you're manifesting, what you're working toward. Meditate, use affirmations, draw oracle cards. You'd be very surprised at how it can be interesting to plan out your vision. You set an intention, you get into a frequency, you draw an oracle card or 3 or 6 or whatever, and just get the message from it. I don't know if you've ever had the experience with oracle cards. I have, where I've drawn one and thought, oh, I don't really like that message. So I'll get another deck out and draw a card from that deck. And it's the same damn message. It's just in a different deck. So allow yourself to get into a quiet state. Again, create ritual around what you're doing. Light a candle, do some breathing, and see if you can't use an oracle card to help find a path. Like, what is it important for me to know about this vision that I have? What is it that would be helpful to me to manifest this desire that I have? And the other part about this whole visioning thing is you have to engage all of your senses. You want to know how you want to feel, because sometimes the universe has a better plan for you to get to that feeling or those emotions. And so if you're trying to manifest, and I don't advise necessarily this, but the yacht or the house or the whatever, it's more about how do you want to feel in it? What images that you can find if you're doing a vision board or something that evoke the feeling that you want to have? Because that's going to give you the frequency that you're moving toward, how you want to feel. Then you can create the movie or the picture, the vision, right? Okay, I can see this. Uh, Say you want to be at the beach. You want, multiple trips to the beach this year. Okay, hear the seagulls, right? Feel the warm sand. Listen to the waves. See the sunrise over the ocean or the sunset, depending on which direction you're facing. But give yourself all the dimensionality of whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest, because that will keep the frequencies in alignment, right? If you are wanting to manifest something in your life, a relationship, a successful uh, work event, but you have this, yeah, but I don't deserve it, or who am I to think that I could have that, or these things never work out, or I want 10 people there, but I know I'll probably never get 10. You've got frequency mismatches, and the universe gets confused. That's where we can get ourselves stuck just by doing that. So you want everything. The image I'm being given is in Finding Nemo, when they're all panicking because they're in the net, the fish are swimming in all different directions. And Nemo says, no, no, we've got to all swim in the same direction. And they break free and break the net and move on. It's like you want all your energies lined up in the direction of what it is that you desire. Uh, when I'm doing the Master Heart Mind program that I'll be offering during the winter, I have a 7-step process that starts with a vision, amplifies it, energizes it. We don't get down to the plan and the goals until step 7. Because what comes up when you have a vision and you're moving through all these steps, you get to 5, and at 5 is when the blocks show up. The yeah buts, the things inside of you that aren't ready for that vision. And when you do the work there to clear it, you might even want to revisit the vision. Like, oh, maybe it could be that something better because I don't have that block or that smallness or the not enoughness, whatever it is that comes up. Step 7 is actually gratitude. You can go into gratitude before it manifests. Be grateful that you know how to manifest. Be grateful that you have a vision. Be grateful the universe has heard your message. And from the gratitude, after you've cleared the blocks and you're holding the vision, that's when you start to create the roadmap. That's when you plan. That's when you set goals. A lot of times the systems and strategies out there are set a goal, work towards the goal, beat yourself up because you didn't make the goal, right? And then you get frustrated. Well, that's not the energy you want to go through your manifesting exercises with. So we've done all the clearing. We've got the vision. We're ready. We're in gratitude that this exists in consciousness, because that's the first place something has to exist before it'll get into 3D. That's why we vision. That's why we journal. That's why we do affirmations in the present tense, because we're creating it in that dimension of consciousness so that it can come into the 3D life that we live. Just like my friend doing the Joe Dispenza work. She created this object in consciousness first so that she could match it in the 3D world. And that's how this whole process works. So, do we have a few minutes left, Jenny? Good. I'm going to invite you. You did in the breakout rooms, you went back and talked to your person, yourself, in December 2024. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and just for a moment, if you're comfortable, imagine that you are now standing in December 2026 and you have created a magnificent year for yourself. You've kind of mastered this manifesting thing. You've been creating consciously what you desire. You're so excited about this. all that you've learned this year, all that you've let go of and released because you saw that it was in your way. And you're excited because in the year that you've spent, you are happy with who you are. And you realize that the only question you needed to ask in December of 2025 was, who do I need to be in 2026 to live the life I desire? It really wasn't about the goals. It wasn't even about the doing. Who do I need to be to live the 2026 I desire? And so in December 2026, turn around and look back over the year and just ponder, what would I tell my December 2025 person? What would I tell myself back then that I know now? What do I wish she could know before 2026 even starts? You can open your eyes and come back into the room, but imagine that that's a question you ponder or journal on or contemplate on your walk. That might be something that would help inform you for 2026. And I'd like to send you, if you are interested, a 7-minute audio that's a relaxation audio. 7 minutes to get you into a relaxed state. You can go to beyondquantum.co or Scientific Mystic, thescientificmystic.com. And there's a way there that you can sign up for me to send you the 7-minute relaxation audio that I'd like to offer you. And again, then we can stay in touch and I can let you know about all those programs I said are coming up next year. And if you're in the Annapolis area and would like to come and join us, January 4th is the first celebration of spirit in Arnold, Maryland. And I would also invite you to come by Zoom from wherever you are, because I have people who who have moved away from the area, or somebody in Poughkeepsie who wants to be a founding member. So it'll be a nice community. And I will put the website in the chat. And I hope that if you have any questions, I'll be hanging around after the meeting and we can answer some questions. But thank you very much for your attention and happy manifesting the 2026 you desire. Mwah. Much love.
Wow. Unmute yourselves, everyone, and let's take a few seconds here to show Rosemary some love. Let her hear our appreciation. Also, those hearts are always
Yay.
beautiful to show up. So unmute yourself so she can hear us.
Yay.
Yay, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. It's
So we
great.
are going to shut the recording off in just a moment and take some questions or comments. And let's see. Thank you to everyone joining us live or catching the replay. And I'd like to give you some more information about that. Join us for future connections gatherings on Zoom or in person. You can explore On Purpose Woman magazine. Just visit my website, opwgc.com. That is also in the text of this video. There you'll find inspiration, connection, and opportunities to grow both personally and professionally, all while staying true to who you really are. Until next time, stay inspired, stay authentic, stay connected, and stay grounded in your purpose. Thanks for watching.